Thanks. On Art in Your Ear on Friday, some of the panel members were on my radio show, and Steve, you and Craig had a conversation about collaboration, and you talked a little bit, you have to compose and produce and arrange work. Sometimes it sounds like maybe a little last minute or at HSN, and then I would imagine maybe do some stuff for yourself. So how do you do that? How does it work that you're able to do that?
I think a big part of keeping it fresh, as far as what you're saying, like having a different creative daytime versus a creative free time or me time, is collaboration. I think collaboration is fantastic. I think that's part of what helps me, whether I'm scoring a picture during the day and then writing a song for an artist or another company or business in my own time. I think what helps is the collaboration, because I'm working with different people, and you can do all kinds of wonderful things on your own. You can certainly bring all kinds of creativity, but for me, feeding off of somebody, the back and forth, the give and take is what really keeps me going. And I'm working with a different group of people and a different set of creatives during the day than I am after hours. And I think that's probably why I don't wear down, because it shifts gears. I get different things from different people, and I think that's one of the wonderful things about creativity is if you can find someone to collaborate with that also has a passion and that also has a vision, when you merge these two things together, you get something that you just wouldn't have created. You get something that you wouldn't have thought of. So that requires a couple different things. One of being that you're open to that creativity. You're open to that feedback. One of the things I think we talked about on the radio was that sometimes if you take it as just straight up criticism, if someone gives you some feedback that modifies or changes your vision, you just can't be married to that. You have to be able to take that and be open-minded, because what could come out of that could be fantastic. And so if you have that going on during the day and you're working in that zone, I think when you're doing your other stuff, try to be creative. Try to find another outlet. That's what I really love about this forum and getting everyone together and talking, because I think it's so important to continue to be active with other artists, to be creative with other artists, to see other ways that they create, and to then bring that into your own and make that connection. I think that helps to keep things moving along. That helps to keep you from getting dried out, or from getting just completely done, because it's almost like another injection of energy, of creative energy, when you get that that juice from somebody else, and then sometimes you find your second win from that.
Part of that conversation was coming from my idea that I'm a kind of a rule breaker, and one of the things I learned early on was that you can't really break the rules if you don't know them. And so early in my career, listening to criticism from an editor or a news director or someone like that, if I was closed to it, I didn't grow. And then it led into that whole conversation about collaboration, and now I really consider that whenever I'm trying to give somebody my feedback on work. It's a collaboration. You said you had somebody who used to say, I don't like it. They didn't say, I don't like that. I have a challenge with that. And then I remember I had a television producer who would always say to me, I have a challenge with that. He would also say, you got one more take. You got one more take. I thought I had done the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's all about, there's got to be a period of time in your creative career where you just suck. You're bad. And you have to go out there and be bad over and over again, and hopefully be able to expose that to someone who can show you through collaboration where you're going wrong, and you get the basic rules down, and then you'll have your creative click, and then you'll move on and surpass them or do whatever it is you're going to do. But you have to be open to that. It's not criticism. Well, I think that's really good. Well, somebody else doesn't. Why not? What is that about? We all have an internal editor, and our internal editor will always tell us we're right. It made sense to me, but if it doesn't make sense to the person you're presenting it to, or doesn't speak to them, it hasn't gotten anywhere. So it's about that collaboration. Move away from that being criticism and it being a collaboration, and that you're going to grow from this. And trust me, easier said than done.
Tom?
I want to chime in on the collaboration thing, because I think one of the worst things that's happened to the music business in the last 15 years is that everybody's doing their recording as solo artists, even if they're part of a group. And they go in their bedrooms and they don't collaborate with anybody. They only put their ideas down, and there are some artists, by the way, who are amazingly good at that. Most of us, our work suffers tremendously from the lack of that. Just the creativity of bouncing ideas between 4 or 5 musicians in a room, playing the song together, and what comes out of that versus what comes out of me sitting in my room by myself, trying to come up with all the ideas. I have seen it my entire career in the studio when I get a band in, and I've always insisted that if I'm producing a band, they're going to play together in the studio. There is none of this, the drummer goes home and does his take, and then if they want to take it home and do their overdubs at home, I'm okay with that usually, but give me a chance to make that stuff happen in the studio with everybody playing together, and there is no thing better than having that kind